second big barrier to learning, according to Dr. Wyatt Woodsmall, is what you know that isn't the case. What you know that isn't the case. So what that means is what you think you absolutely 1000% know. You know that for sure. You know that this is true. However, it's not true. So there was an old XKCD comic. XKCD. It's literally the letter X, the letter K, the letter C, the letter D, like .com, and that is this comic strip written by this guy that can basically only do stick figures. But he has lots of little nerdy comic strips, and one of the comic strips that he had was that he wishes every single school year started with a list of common misconceptions so that they could run through that all every year. If you eat less than 30 minutes before you go swimming, then you'll get a cramp. That's bullshit. It's a common misconception. You know, things like this happen all the time. There's a bunch of common misconceptions. I don't know what the fuck I'm missing. You guys might have spotted it. I haven't. Not yet. But, you know, that's that's one of the common misconceptions. And so you said, like, I think that the whole world would be improved if every single school year began with a list of all of the common misconceptions, because they get updated every year. And Wikipedia has a list of common misconceptions, and it is incredible. If you go through it, I guarantee you, you will learn something that you didn't know before. I guarantee you. I can absolutely guarantee it, or your money back, man. You will learn something on that list that you did not know before. It's fascinating. So one of the biggest barriers to learning is what you absolutely know for a fact, but it's not true. People do not very often challenge their own beliefs. People do not do that very often at all. Most people never do it. So you might ask a question of, like, why are there so few scientists? That's because, let's take a looky-loo at the scientific process. First, you make an observation. You know, first you're like, yeah, you make an observation, I believe. And you say, like, hey, I think that the world works this way and not this way. So you make an observation, then you formulate a hypothesis. I bet you anything the world works this way and it doesn't work this way. And you say, like, you design a test. I bet you anything if I do this, that it's not going to be so, it's not going to be the way that everybody says it is. It's actually going to go the way that I'm thinking it does. Or vice versa. Then you go ahead and you test the hypothesis. You do the experiment. So you go and you try it, and it either confirms your hypothesis, confirms your null hypothesis, or it confirms your hypothesis, your guess. You've made a guess. Now you're testing to see whether or not you're right. And so it's either going to confirm that you're right, it's going to confirm that you're wrong, or it's going to confirm that you're neither right nor wrong. So something like, I think, let's see, I think, here's one that we did in chemistry. I think that these cheesy puffs are probably very calorie dense. So we take the measurements from the side of the cheesy puffs. They said, like, I think that they're lying on the side of the box of cheesy puffs. I think that they're going a little low on the calories, and I think that they're lying to the consumer. That was our guess. So we tested. A calorie is the unit of energy required to raise a the unit of energy required to raise a single gram of water 1 degree Celsius. That's what a calorie actually is. So whenever my cat brings me a dead rat or something like that and I toss it in the fireplace, it's because I'm tossing a log in the fireplace. That rat has calories in it. I might not be able to, digest those calories one way or the other. Maybe because it's not cooked right, maybe because it's undigestible for human beings or whatever. But I can't get the calories out of it. The fire can. Ah, here we go. So, toss it in the fireplace. So your next question is, does that mean that wood has a lot of calories in it? The answer is yes. So your next question is, then why don't we eat wood? Because we can't digest it. It's like we can't digest poisonous dart frogs either, because it's poison, right? But we can't digest wood because we can't digest wood. We just can't. For whatever reason, it's just too tough. Whatever. But yeah, the reason that wood burns, the way that wood burns, and it burns for a long time and it produces a lot of heat, is actually because wood has a shitload of calories in it. You never thought that the trees that are in the nearest forest near you has like 160 fucking thousand times more calories in them than a Big Mac, but they do. They really do. And take all the candy in the world, and it's not going to equate to a small tree. Even a small tree has way more calories in it. We can just digest the candy, can't digest the tree. That's all. So anyways, we burn the fucking things. We burn the cheesy puffs. That's what we did in our chemistry class. We set the cheesy puffs on fire. That's how we tested our hypothesis. We think that the company is lying to the consumer, that the cheesy puffs have more calories in them than is on the box. So we burned them. And we burned them underneath we burned them underneath a thing with about 100 grams of water in it, and then we measured the water at room temperature, and then we measured the water later after we burned the cheesy puffs. And then all we had to do is divide that temperature change in Celsius by 100. And what did we get? Turns out the class was wrong. The company who made those cheesy puffs wanted to play it safe So it's kind of a null hypothesis, you know. If your other guess is, well, the company probably knows what the hell they're doing, and they put the correct amount of calories on the side of their box. If that was your hypothesis, then you're not right either. The company wanted to play it safe and actually put a higher number of calories on the side of the box than what we got out of the Cheesy Puffs. 0 people in the class were able to get all of the calories that were listed on the box from those Cheesy Puffs. They know their consumers. They know that consumers are very worried about calories. And so what did they do? They made a low, or they made a high estimate. They said, okay, this is about how many calories are in these things. Let's add a couple. Because people know that this is a snack. This is not a food staple or anything. So they actually did it low. We were wrong. The company was giving high estimates for the amount of calories in there. So it was really fucking neat to figure that out, you know. That was a really cool experiment. I did that in Dr. Bruhall's class at Lewis and Clark Community College, Godfrey, Illinois. I think it was Chemistry 131. It was a wonderful little experiment. It was fascinating to learn that. I liked it. I considered it very interesting. So that's like, you know, the basic process of science, right? Well, what's the next process? You've confirmed the hypothesis. You've either confirmed the hypothesis or you've denied the hypothesis or you've confirmed the null hypothesis. One of the three. Something happened here. So what happened? See, there's the silver catalyst that I was wielding, that the royalty wields at the start of the game. So like I said, we're going to get all of our starting equipment in this little section. Like I said, there's no class that you can start as in the game. There's no class that you can start as in the game that has something that cannot be obtained in the game through normal methods. No one is getting something that you cannot go and find on your own. No one's getting an extra special, extra treat or anything like that. Let me make absolutely fucking sure that I didn't miss anything before I leave. This is a long hallway. Alright. Okay. Just hoping for the best here. So what's the next step? The next step is actually to have that experiment repeated by other people. First, you should repeat the experiment. Make sure you did it right. And then you should repeat the experiment with other people. And then give it to a group of people who are trying to prove you wrong. Then, after they are unable to prove you wrong after repeated experiments, you give it to a wider audience. You give it to like the International Council of all fucking scientists in the world, and that's what you do. And those scientists, the high elder fucking council of scientists somewhere on planet Earth, they repeat the experiments once they have time, if they have time. And they repeat the experiments to see if you were right or wrong. and they're trying to prove you're wrong as well. See, this is a big ballista machine, and now we're behind it, so we can pull this lever and shut it off. And that makes a big old shortcut. So your next question is, okay, if that's the shortcut, does that mean that an especially skilled player can just dive over each individual ballista as it's being fired at them and get behind the machine that way? And the answer to that question is yes. And there's a PlayStation trophy that is locked behind that. So if you can successfully dodge all the ballista all the way up to the ballista cannon here, if you can dodge all of them and get behind it to shut it off, to take the shortcuts before the game, points out that you can take the shortcut the way that we just shut it off, if you can do that, it will unlock a PlayStation trophy. In the original, it didn't unlock shit, but it was very difficult. It's very difficult. Like, first it like shoots, it's just like boom, boom, and then it waits for a little bit, and then boom, boom. But then as you get closer, it gets faster and faster. So if you think that you've got the rhythm, you don't. You have to look at it, you have to listen to the audio cues, and you have to dodge on time. It takes a lot of skill to do it correctly. And I'm not doing it in this playthrough. I will eventually platinum this game, and I'll platinum this game while recording video so that you can see how I do it and everything, but I'm not doing it right now. We're doing a nice, normal, easy playthrough and teaching you how to get to through this game as easy as possible. So, we'll do that next time. And what is probably going to happen is I'm probably going to record the video and fail and then delete the video. And then record the video and fail and delete the video. And do that over and over and over again. And each time I'll probably begin the video by saying, this is my 75th try. This is my 80th try. This is my 99th try, And I'll just keep beginning each video like that, so that you'll know exactly how many times I failed at this task before I got behind that ballista. Because I don't think I've ever actually done it in the original. There was no reason to do it in the original, so I just never bothered. So that means that I don't know how. I've never done it, therefore I don't know how. But if I want to platinum this game, then I guess I'll have to learn. Anyways, I just opened up the shortcut. But so yeah, you give this you give the repeated experiments to like the High Council of Elders, the top scientists around the world. You do all that shit, and then what do you get at the end of this entire cycle? Is that you get a bunch more people trying to prove you wrong. Damn it, I rated it wrong. That was good advice. There's an invisible person up here, and she's a real pain in the ass. Hold on. You little bitch. There she is. Believe it or not, if we get closer, she's gonna wig out and be way worse. Trading projectiles is definitely the easier way to go about this fight. You bitch. You double bitch. There we go. Like I said, most red phantoms don't respawn. She does not respawn. Ba 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 ba. Boss door. What are we gonna do? Well, we're not gonna go all the way through the boss door yet. There's still a smidgen of this level to explore. Of course. We gotta go check it out. I wonder what's in there. And I would not recommend being in a rush to get through that door, because you just might get on the other side of that door to find a fight that you can't finish. Sounds a little ominous, doesn't it? I think it's true. Maybe you want to listen to me, maybe you don't. I've got the platinum trophy for the original game. Maybe I know what I'm talking about. We'll see. Anyway, so whenever you look at the scientific process as a whole, you see a process where someone thinks of a question and then spends an inordinate amount of time and maybe even money and resources trying to prove that question wrong. They're trying to prove themselves wrong. And whenever they fail to prove themselves wrong, they get a bunch of other people to try to prove them wrong. And whenever those people fail to prove them wrong, then they go and they try to find all of the people of the whole world, you know, all of the elders of this planet, the best scientists on Earth, to prove them wrong. They say, please prove me wrong. And then these scientists, if they have the time, money, and resources, these scientists will, you know, do more experiments, repeat them, and try to prove you wrong. And if they can't prove you wrong, then at the end of that process, they then publish your results as a theory, as a scientific theory, stating emphatically that, hey, we have done a lot to try to prove this wrong and we couldn't. What the hell did this guy do? How did he die? I don't know. Maybe he was poisoned. I don't know. Here is a bad guy. Time for dying.
What do you want? I am but a humble servant. I do not wish to interfere. I won't cause you trouble. I won't. What do you want? I won't cause you trouble. I won't.
Seems like a normal, peaceful guy. I got a key over here. Maybe we ought to just leave this guy alone. But didn't these messages say that he was a bad guy? I wonder what they're talking about. Ah. Oh, fucker. Seems unnecessary, huh? Seems violent. Well, if you would have went into the boss room before killing that guy, what would happen is every time the boss would die, he would resurrect her over and over again until you lost. There was no way around it. And that's what would have happened if you would have went straight into the boss room. That's a fucking shitty reward for such a difficult jump. Yeah. So, yeah, he would have resurrected the boss over and over and over again until the boss finally killed you. There's no way around it. You could have killed her a billion times, he would have resurrected her a billion times, and eventually the boss would kill you. It's an unwinnable fight while he's still alive. And every time that he does it, he like gets up there and he cackles and he says, you're a loser and whatever, and he resurrects the boss. And so you know that it's him that's doing it. You make a mental note to go kill him later, but you're stuck in an unwinnable boss fight until you die. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. So yeah, that's what that guy does. We got one last key, but the boss door is wide open. But we did have doors that we couldn't open. And we did just get one last key. So, dear viewer, I don't remember where those locked doors were. So I'm searching the entire level for them again, because I don't remember where they were. I know that Lord Rydell is stuck in his cell, but I don't know where these other locked cells are. And I know that Lord Rydell's key for his cell is in World 3-2. It's in the next level of this world. It is not anywhere in here. So we cannot free Lord Rydell until we go through most of World 3-2 and get most of the goodies from that area, and then come back. So that with all the scientific stuff, like I said, there's this process of trying to prove yourself wrong, desperately trying to prove yourself wrong. Now, go back and remember the way that most people approach most things. Most people do not try to prove themselves wrong, they try to prove themselves right. And they will click on the first link in the Google search results that agrees with them. They will get trapped in a million different types of biases, and they won't learn anything, and they'll never try to prove themselves wrong, and so they'll never go and get the Wikipedia list of common misconceptions or anything like that. They will never examine their own beliefs. And because of that, they'll never know what they think they know, but it isn't true. It is not the case. And that'll be their biggest barrier to learning. They'll run across things over and over again in their lives that will be insurmountable problems that they will never be able to solve, and they will be stuck for the rest of their life simply because they do not look at their own common misconceptions, and figure out, what they got wrong. So there's power. We've already, gone past the Demon Souls lesson of the day. The Demon Souls lesson of the day is, once you have knowledge, you can use that knowledge to create power for yourself. You can use it to your advantage. That's the Demon Souls lesson of the day. But also, with this being a barrier to, here we are, and this is Sage Freak. Hey man.
I never expected I might escape alive. My name is Rick. I am known as a sage. I thought to play a human soul tune for the sake of my magic. But just look at me now. I have been enfeebled by my long imprisonment. But I can still move my legs, and I can make it back to the next. I thank the stars that my confinement lasts no longer. I owe you my life. I have been enfeebled by my long imprisonment. But I can still move my legs.
Anything else?
I've been enfeebled, but I can still move.
Alright. So that's Sage Freak. We have rescued Sage Freak. And we'll get our poison spell from him later. And after we get it, we'll go back and we'll beat up Black Phantom, Garl Vinland. And then after we beat up Black Phantom, Garl Vinland, we'll move on with our lives, explore Maiden Estraya's area, get all the goodies that she left us, and then we'll move on with our lives. So how does that sound? So alright. Gotta make our way all the fuck way back to the damn boss room so we can beat up the boss. Do that right quick. Oh boy. Holy fuck. So it's stuff like that. So I brought that whole thing up because of the whole Navy thing. Because I was in the Navy and blah blah blah. So there was several misconceptions about the Navy that I myself had before I joined the Navy, but also most people have about the Navy. Less than 0.1% of the population is in the military at any point in time, and that's the population of America. I don't know how it is for other countries. So there's a ton of misconceptions, and one of the biggest misconceptions is, well, you can't learn about stuff about the military from anyone in the military because they're all recruiters. Even the ones that constantly complain about how they had a terrible fucking time in the military, they're also recruiters somehow. It's the biggest fucking mindset that just blows my goddamn mind, is that you can't learn that it's a civilian thing. You can't learn anything about the military from the military. You have to hang on to your own misconceptions. And the only way that you can learn anything about the military is by going to your nearest fucking conspiracy theorist. And if they say, oh, I know about this because I know about this part of the military because my uncle was in the military, and my uncle said, you know, this, that, or the other, you can disregard their uncle saying that because everybody in the military is a recruiter. And so they're just buttering you up. They're lying to you. It's fucking ridiculous. It's the biggest fucking ridiculous mindset, and it drives me insane, because there's no way past it. And look at it, it's a no-win situation. If that is your mindset, if you do not want to learn anything about the military from me because I was in the military, not everybody's a fucking recruiter. I did not have to go into the military to pay for college. I could have gone to Blackburn College in Carlinville, Illinois, which was free. I went into the military to get college money, and it was unnecessary because I didn't know about Blackburn College. It's not just Blackburn College. You live in a different world than I lived whenever I was 19 years old. We live in a different world now. It has been well over 10 years since then. It's been 15, actually. I just did the math, and it's kind of a shock. But, you know, it's been 15 years. It's not just Blackburn College, which only does Macoupin County stuff. here in Illinois, there's also the University of the People online. That's a free college. Costs you about $4,000 for your. It costs you about $1,000 per year just to take the tests, and that's it. So $4,000 for a 4-year degree is ridiculously cheap. $1,000 for, or $250 per credit hour. So $1,000 for an average class, or $750 for an average class. That's community college prices. $4,000 for an entire degree, that's fucking cheap. Or you can go to the University of the Ozarks out there in Missouri, which is free. You just go there, you work 15 hours a week, and it's free from then on out. If you're out here in Macoupin County, or if you move out here in Macoupin County, Blackburn College is free. And there's a lot more free institutions than there ever was before. I joined the military for college money, and it wasn't necessary. So I did something that was not necessary. You do not have to do what I do, and most people can't. And it's not because I'm some fucking superhero that trained my whole life and was born in a vat and was fucking genetically engineered to be in the fucking Navy of all things. It's not because of that. It's because I was born with 2 eyes, 2 legs, 2 feet, stuff like that. If you're even like missing a finger more than half the time, they're not going to fucking let you into the military. It's ridiculous, but it's true. So I was born with all of my requisite parts and vision correctable to 20/20 because I am nearsighted. But other than that, you know, that's one of the reasons why they let me in. A million things can be wrong with you that disqualifies you from the service. My aunt, who's about 2 years older than me, she tried to join the Air Force, and she had mitral valve prolapse. Out of the 4 valves of her heart, one of the valves was too fat, and so it doesn't close all the way, and it makes it just slightly harder to pump blood. That disqualified her from military service, even though she was maxing the Air Force physical fitness tests, and she had a clean bill of health. So not everybody can. So I'm not trying to fucking recruit you whenever I'm telling you shit about the military. I'm just telling you stories because fuck, I don't know. I'm trying to make this fucking walkthrough or whatever. I'm not trying to recruit you whenever I tell you shit about the military, goddammit. I'll tell you the good, I'll tell you the bad, I'll tell you everything in between, and I'll tell you that I didn't fucking need to go into the military. If I would have known about Blackburn College, I could have stayed here at home and I would have had my degree a million fucking years ago instead of wasting all my fucking time on the other side of the planet. I don't regret my time in the military at all. However, it was not necessary for my goals. Anyways, so, boss fight, shall we? So, unlike Maiden Astraea, this here is a false idol. And that's what she's called, the Fool's Idol. She's not a saint. She's got plenty of people worshiping her as a saint. But they are fools. I don't know what she was, but before she became a demon, but whatever it was like a scam artist or something like that. Because she's not the real idol. She's no good. This is a church that does bad things. This is a church that embezzles their money. This is a bad church. Nothing wrong with the architecture, as you can see, but with the church itself... Oh, I got too close to her. She activated the glyphs. Those glyphs will shock you like that. And it's like the mind flayers. It paralyzes you and makes it so she can hit you much easier, as you can see. I thought they could only shock you once. Apparently I was wrong. Excuse me. This corpse behind her with the baby's nail, it becomes impossible to access. If you don't access it during the fight, then you can never access it. Alright. So now there's 3. Could you tell the difference? Which one's the real one? The one I'm locked onto is shooting a little fast blue ball. This one over here is also shooting a little fast blue ball. But the one in back is shooting this big, slow green ball. And there's even one way back there who isn't shooting anything. So if you hit... That could have been an instant kill. Wow. Okay. There we go. So if you hit the wrong one, a million different things happen. But whatever happens, it doesn't make her life bar go down. So like I said, that corpse that's behind the altar over here, that becomes inaccessible after the fight. So you have to get the baby's nail that's on that corpse during the fight. You have to get it during the fight, which you saw me do. Because after the fight, this happens every time you get near the altar. That's right. The gremlins from Anne Orlando and Dark Souls 1 come out of nowhere and give you a ride to World 3 too. So that's what happens. So there's our demon soul. Head back to the Nexus. And really, we can get either one, because we do have a bunch of souls and whatnot. Speaking of, let's get some more of that. Why not?
I can fight for you. You come back alive.
Okay, before I fuck around too much here, let's head over to Sage Freak. He's over on the magician side. So here's Big Man who wanted me to rescue Sage Freak.
You saved Master Freak, did you not? Then I was right to bend the rules and teach you a few tricks. I'm grateful to you for your service. Do you see how important selfless acts are in this strange world? What is it? You're still begging for magic lessons? Oh, so be it. It's better than having that bother Master Freak. Master Freak prefers to work alone. Do not dare to bother him by gabbing about trifling nonsense. He's on the verge of discovering something that will rival even the demon souls. He's on the verge of discovering something.
You ain't got nothing new. Yep.
Suit yourself.
Oh, there you are. Made yourself right at home.
I have a proposal. Could you bring your demon souls to me? As I determine more about the essence of the soul, I could teach you new magic. A demon's soul is no mere amalgamation of lessons. You have learned so much. Surely you understand. You have a connection to the disciples. Do not pay any attention to them if they speak poorly of you and my magic. Prayer is for the foolish, quaint, and soon to be dead.
Talking smack about the priests.
Find out what their so-called God really is.
Same place that you guys get magic.
I was defeated and captured by the golden usurper past tense now. Be wary of him, for he manipulates souls. He has power over vile, murky souls, those susceptible to madness and paranoia.
He's talking about the boss of World 3.
I know three humans who came to lead demons. King Alan Astraea of the Valley of Defilement, and the Golden Usurper of Latran. There's no question that they became demons, but we were wrong to assume that they ceased to be human. He has power over fire.
Okay, so we've got Poison Cloud from the Writhing Demon Soul, and we got Death Cloud from the Pureblood Demon Soul. And an Acid Cloud. The Acid Cloud does nothing but it does damage to equipment. So I don't think it even fucking works against the NPCs. It'll work against PvP people, but if you're going to destroy someone in someone's equipment in PvP, player versus player, if you're not keen with the lingo, but if you're going to destroy somebody with PvP, then you better get the scraping spear. That's a hell of a lot more effective. It's a real dick move, but if they're doing some crazy shit to you, if they're bothering you a lot, that'll get them to leave you the fuck alone. Really, I think it's kind of a minor annoyance either way, whenever you think about it. So I think this afflicts toxic, and this afflicts poison. And as you saw, whenever we were in the blood pit by Maiden Astraea, toxic is a hell of a lot worse than poison. But I don't know what else the pure blood demon soul does. But we're nearing the end of this episode anyways, so I might as well do a little bit of research before I fuck up this particular run of the game, before I go into New Game Plus, and figure out the best use of the Pure Blood Demon Soul, or the Writhing Demon Soul. Make a choice between these two. Anyways, I guess that'll be it for now. And I'll talk to you the next time I get the chance. See you then. Bye-bye.